Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing.
Right, hello. As you well know, the Monkey Ball Rally in 2016, we did it for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we also did it for the air ambulance, and we raised a hell of a lot of money. It was a massive sense of achievement. Now the next rally, which will be in 2018, if you've been following the page, you'll have seen various different levels of progress. We are getting somewhere, it's all going ahead, we're all planning and getting on with everything. This time round we're doing it for a charity which is very close to my heart, and also close to the hearts of a few of the other guys as well, which is for multiple sclerosis. Now the reason that it is close to my heart is because my sister is affected by this. So what I've done today is I've asked her to come up to my house, come up to Team Modified HQ, and just tell us a little bit about it, and what it is. It's a nasty, horrible, shitty condition, but my sister, although she's not the worst affected person, it has affected her. She's going to tell you her story, and I'll tell you now, because she's not in the room so she won't burst into tears, that she is the single strongest person I've known in my entire life. Everything that the doctors told her not to do, she's done it. Everything they've told her, don't do this, don't do that, she said and done it. And that's why I've asked her to come up and tell you a bit about it. And the next bit you'll see, hopefully very well edited, will be my sister Bryony Attenborough telling you a little bit about MS. Thank you.
I'm Bryony Attenborough. I am Simon Hambridge's big sister, and I live in Nottingham, and I am supporting Monkey Ball 2018. Multiple sclerosis is a incurable currently disease that is related and linked to the nervous system around the body. There are varying different types. There is progressive, which is where you continuously get worse and iller and iller. There is relapsing remitting, where you will become ill and then get better, and there is no known cure, and there is no way of knowing how you are going to be affected when they find your diagnosis. MS is linked to the nerves, and primarily to the nervous cord as it runs down the spine. It's a bit like a plug wire. So where you've got the outside coating, it's called the myelin sheath that runs down the back. That then gets knocked away, and it gets damaged to a point that it can't repair itself, and then that gives you whatever symptoms you get. Me myself, I live with spaggy hands. I've got very little feeling in my fingers, so on days when I'm not feeling so great, I end up throwing things all over the kitchen and various other places as well, and people just tut and look at me and understand why I do that. I have poor feeling in my toes. My balance can be shocking at times. Fatigue is where it kind of affects. I get quite tired, but I know when to say, can't do anymore now, don't want to know. And my speech sometimes my tongue gets wrapped around my tonsils, and I have to stop and take a breath and then start again. So I know these are the kind of things that I know that I've got to react to. So yeah, that's kind of where it is. I don't have to have any. I'm fortunate enough that I, after 20 odd years of doing this, can self-manage how I feel. If I did, need to have treatments. There are varying different ones out there, and there's lots of new ones that ever so often that they're trying. Because I haven't been in contact with a lot of them, I don't know a lot of the treatments, but beta interferon is one. Steroid treatment is another way that they're doing it. So they're sort of the big ones. There are varying other different types of steroids and pain relief that they do prescribe, but it's all dependent on what symptoms the person that's afflicted with this disease does get, with this syndrome. I was diagnosed when I was 18 years old. I'd gone into hospital with stacked double vision, and from that MRI found that I had lesions on my brain which were linked to MS.
It's alright. So I'll come and go in with this one. You don't need to feel daft. At the end of the day, right? You not let this thing beat you at all. I don't like to call it a disease, because to me a disease is something that you can catch. It's a condition.
It's terrible because it's not something that I suffer with. It just sits there, and there are millions of people far worse off than I am with this. The consultant who came to tell me the diagnosis sat there and told me he wanted to speak to me by myself. I had my mum and my dad and a very unsure 14, 15-year-old.
Yeah, something like that,
yeah. And I said, anything you can say to me, you can say to them. And his words still sit now, because it was probably the worst way of telling anybody. But he said, I've got good news and bad news. And said that the bad news was that they diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but the good news was that only 50% of people who got it ended up in a wheelchair. And at 18, that kind of didn't float my boat.
That's the thing that we all thought, oh shit, she's going to be in a wheelchair. That's like the worst case scenario, and that's you think multiple sclerosis. Oh my god, all these people are in wheelchairs. She's never going to walk again. Stuff. They didn't give us the right information that we needed at the time, did they?
No, not at all. They gave me a list of everything that I shouldn't do, and so I screwed it up and threw it over my shoulder and decided I was going to do it my way. And 25 years on nearly, it seems to be doing me okay at this moment in time. I've been fortunate. I haven't had to have a lot of medical treatment. In fact, 4 years ago, they took me back in and did another MRI just to prove that I did actually have MS, because the MS nurses didn't actually believe it. But I do get a huge amount of support from the hospital. I've spoken at some European events for the MS doctors and nurses at Nottingham University hospitals, and supporting MS Trust and the MS Society as well. So now these guys are going to do it for us as well. My God. From seeing the dedication and commitment from the first Monkey Ball, these guys can do whatever they want to do, and so to support them supporting me, supporting them supporting me, and the MS Trust, MS Society, and trying to look for additional funding for a cure is kind of pretty epic, and just makes me realise what a cool dude this guy is. So help them to help us raise some money, and it's massive thanks to all of the guys who put themselves forward for doing this time round. I know they had a whale of a time doing it last year, and there's only one other thing to say really from that, isn't it? It's keep it safe, keep it monkey ball.